Oh, people are like, here, they're feeling upset, and I'm just like, pain is my best friend. They really, really tear me on. I'm going to say this, I did not eat 39 cream eggs. Oh, this is a short book. Hi friends, my name is Joel and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm coming at you with a new book haul, and I haven't done a book haul in a while. I received quite a few books for my birthday that I bought and also was gifted, and I think that it's definitely a good way to talk about some really good books and just to kind of catch up with you all. But first, before we get into that, if you've yet to check out my Twitter nor my Bookstagram, I would highly recommend you go do that because I post some extra push content that you're not gonna see here. First, I really need to get into this. So this appeared on my doorstep today, and I bought this months ago for my birthday because it was going to be delivered in the same month. And as you can tell, it's from Fairyloot. Basically, I've been wanting to read this series for a while. I just haven't been able to get one consistent box set of it. And so when Fairyloot decided to release this set, I was like, yes, of course I will go for it. And so, this is my first time that I'm seeing them, and they're so gorgeous. So we have An Ember in the Ashes by Sabato here, A Torch Against the Night, A Reaper at the Gates, and finally A Sky Beyond the Storm. And these books are basically the culmination of the Ember Quartet. And oh my gosh, they are so gorgeous. They have these detailings on the sprayed edges, and it's just so stunning. The stenciling is gorgeous. Oh, there is artwork on the nakedness. I'm obsessed. It has an orange hardback for An Ember in the Ashes. Each of these books are also signed by Sabato here, which is amazing. Then we also have A Torch Against the Night, which I think has a different design on the nakedness, which is exciting to see. There's no art on the reverse of the dust jacket either. And then we get A Reaper at the Gates with this detailing. Finally, oh, okay. So we did get an exclusive art print as well, but I'll show that in a second. This is A Sky Beyond the Storms detailing, which is amazing. But then we got on inside of this, we just got this stunning art print of the main characters, Lyra, Elias, Helene. I don't know who the guy in the back's supposed to be. I'm obsessed with this. I think it looks stunning. I think it looks amazing. The gold foil detailing as well is simply stunning. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. I cannot wait to hang this up on my wall. Although, at this moment in time, I don't know if it's going to be on my wall here or if it'll be on my wall in London, because I recently applied for a publishing internship, which takes place in London from June onwards. And I know, I basically recently just did my bookshelf and my entire room, and I might be moving to London in June. It's definitely a big move, and it's definitely scaring me at this moment in time, and I'm really afraid of moving to London, but things should be fine, things should be okay. They just belong. They belong on the shelf. Look at them. Look how gorgeous they are. Now I want to get into the books that were bought by myself or bought by people who are close to me. And so the very first two books that we'll get into, The Gilded Ones by Namina Fauna. This one is the Waterstones Standard Edition, and then we have an exclusive signed edition which has then foil detailing on it. Both of them have sprayed edges as well, and they're stunning. They're really beautiful, and signed one is just a book plate that is signed. The Gilded Ones and I have a really cool story from when I was working within publishing in Usborne in the Academy in 2018, and I actually got to read a little bit of The Gilded Ones when it was in manuscript form, and it was just amazing, and I really enjoyed it, so I'm really excited to delve back into this. I think it's just going to be such an amazing tale, and there's just certain things that people are talking about that are getting me really hyped for this book again. And the cover art was by Tara Josu, and it's just stunning. I am really obsessed with it. I just can't wait to read it, and I cannot wait to re-explore this world that has now probably changed since the last time I got to read it. The next one that I then bought for myself was, again, a Fairyloot exclusive, but it was one that I knew I had to get because I'm obsessed with this book, and now that the second book cover and synopsis and title has been announced, I'm excited to see what the UK is going to do with it, and that is Raybearer by John Nifweko, and it has these beautiful stenciled edges, and need I say more? It is just stunning, and I'm so excited to finally have Raybearer in the UK cover in hardback as well. I'm one that prefers a hardback book. There is nothing really on the nakedness, but that's completely okay. I have this book now. Raybearer is honestly one of the most stunning YA fantasies that I have read. It's really good for a beginner YA fantasy if you're looking for something like that, and it's just stunning. The jacket design was done by Michaela Alcano, the same one that also did An Ember in the Ashes. I cannot wait to see if Michaela Alcano does the Redemptor book cover for the UK as well, and I just can't wait to see what they will do with it. And it's just gonna be amazing. And again, this cover is stunning, the story is amazing, go pick it up. And the next book that I then bought for myself was a piece of translated fiction, and that is The Mystery of Henry Pick by David Fokinos. This one basically piqued my interest because it's basically about a mystery writer, and it follows kind of this woman who discovers this manuscript that's been rejected by a mass amount of people, and she's like, I need to publish this. And so it becomes an immediate sensation, and everyone basically wants to find the author, and there's just nothing. There is nothing. And so one person sets out to investigate. It's interesting. It's really interesting. Again, my resolution for 2021 was to read more translated fiction, but it's also really good because this really piques my interest in terms of the death of the author theory, where kind of people have been interpreting novels without the author's guidance. And so people want to find out who the author is so that they can like kind of know what the author's intent was probably. And it's just really interesting to see kind of like my literature mind kind of start to develop theories surrounding this book, the conversations that they could have about like the death of the author theory, and I cannot wait to kind of delve into this a bit more and see what it has to offer. The next book that I then bought for myself was Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. This is the Waterstones exclusive edition with sprayed edges, which complements the other Waterstones exclusive editions, and I was really interested in reading this because it is a prequel to The Hate You Give, and it follows Star's father. I'm just really intrigued to reading this because it deals a lot with gang violence and also Maverick Carter coming into the fact that he has a child and that he needs to step away from a life of crime in order to raise his child. And so it feels like it's going to be a really heart-wrenching journey, and so I'm really excited to see like the way that Angie Thomas wrote this, because I love Angie Thomas's writing, and I think that the way she can tell a story and convey the emotion is just stellar and unrivaled. It's just amazing, and I completely love her. I just think that Concrete Rose will not disappoint when I come to read it. The next books, well, the next novellas that I then picked up were ones that I have been recommended to read time and time again, and then I saw the box set that was available on Forbidden Planet, and I was like, I need to get these. And so by Martha Wells, we have All Systems Red, Artificial Condition, Rogue Protocol, and finally Exit Strategy. And I know there's like a 5th novel that's out, so I probably will be picking that up soon so then I can binge the entire series. But basically these form the Murderbot Diaries, and I will admit, I don't know much about the Murderbot Diaries, but everyone has told me that because I like Star Trek, because I like The Mandalorian and a bunch of other kind of like sci-fi stories, I will love the Murderbot Diaries, especially my foray into thrillers. It's definitely one that I want to read because this has been pitched as a fast-paced space thriller, and so I'm really intrigued. I'm really excited by it. I'm gonna have a quick look at the synopsis of All Systems Red because I haven't actually looked at it yet. That's actually really cool, like a self-aware robot that actually names itself Murderbot. Like, again, talks about like self-sentience and kind of the sentient AIs that we are seeing coming up as kind of like a common theme within sci-fi now. We see this in the Infinity Courts by Kemi Dawn Bowman, where we have Ophelia being a sentient AI. And so I definitely think it's something that I'm really intrigued by, and I can't wait to actually read these. I'm planning on binging these probably after my dissertation's done. They feel weird as well. The dust jacket feels weird. I can't describe it, but the material just feels weird. The next book that I then picked up was The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This is the Waterstones exclusive edition, and I just think this looks so much better than the main cover, because I think the colour scheme of the original cover in the UK was just not up to my kind of tastes. This cover, like especially in this kind of colour scheme, definitely pertains to a lot of the themes of the novel, which follows 2 twins who go their separate ways. One secretly passes as white and the other one lives a life as a black woman, and how their lives drastically differ because of that. And so I'm really intrigued by it. I've seen a lot of people read this and give it like stellar ratings and reviews, and so I cannot wait to see kind of how I react to this, how I feel about it, because it's just one that I've been meaning to get to, but because of like dissertation and everything else in my life, I haven't been able to get to yet. And I know Noelle recently read The Mothers by Britt Bennett, and I really liked that one as well. Plus this one has an exclusive introduction by Bernadine Evaristo, who wrote Girl, Woman, Other, which I'm currently about to read as well for Chanel's Crusty Book Club. I'm really excited to see Bernadine Evaristo's thoughts about this story as well, and how she introduces it. I get into my penultimate book that I bought for myself, and this one was a Goldsboro book, because I was like, I'm probably gonna want to buy this, because eventually I'm gonna want to collect them all. And so I basically decided to get myself The Mask Falling by Samantha Shannon in the Black Sprayed Edge Goldsboro edition, which is signed by Samantha Shannon and is also numbered as well, which is amazing. I've been meaning to continue on with the Bone Season series for literal months now. Like, if you've watched my TBR videos, you can see the fact that I literally have been meaning to get through for a variety of months. I've basically decided the fact that I'm just gonna catch up with it in one fell swoop. I'm just gonna binge the rest of the series, although I kind of need to figure out my kind of dilemma with the song Rising and whether I'll either listen to it via audio or like get a paperback copy. Like, the hardback doesn't match the other books. People say the Mime Order is honestly like a phenomenal book, so I cannot wait to get into that next and then continue on and get to The Mask Falling, because I've seen people react to this and people are like hurt, they're feeling upset, and I'm just like, pain is my best friend. And then the next two books that I got, one that I got around Christmas time and then the other one that I got for my birthday. This is books 1 and 2 of the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. This is The Eye of the World and then also The Great Hunt. And the books are subtly different in terms of their presentations, but the spines are the same, so I'm fine with that. Again, I wanted to get a lot more into like classical fantasy series, and so The Wheel of Time has been recommended to me by other people on BookTube and also on BookTwitter time and time again, and so I'm really excited to get into this. So I've basically been trying to find a way to kind of segment the Wheel of Time into arcs or like parts, and so I found this one Reddit thread that was like books 1 to 3 are basically its own arc, first of all, so I'm like, maybe I'll do that. I just want to one day write a paper on like the evolution of fantasy and kind of how it's evolved, because I would love to talk a lot more about kind of how the demographics of fantasy has also changed. Okay, the next purchase was literally because it was £5 on Forbidden Planet, and also because I've been playing this game for a while now, and so I really want to get back into it because I need to build my PC and get back into it, but because of everything else that's going on, it's probably not going to be possible yet. The book that I then bought was The Elder Scrolls Online Tales of Tamriel Book 2, The Lore. This basically just goes over a lot of the lore that's within the Elder Scrolls universe, and I basically really wanted it because, one, it looks really beautiful with the Ouroboros on the front, and I just really like the fact that video games can write books as well. It's definitely helpful when I want to build my own worlds as well within my own fantasy fiction. The depth in which that other like video games and also books go into to craft their worlds, and it's just really intriguing to read about an entire world where there's like stunning illustrations. It's just amazing. It's so gorgeous, and I just cannot wait to like fully delve into this. Unless I'm a big fan of myths, which we'll get onto in a little bit because there is one book in this like thing that I'm really excited by. Actually, no, there's more books about myth. I would really love to write an essay about myth. I need to stop myself because like academia at the moment, I'm like having a love-hate relationship with academia. I want to do like a whole conversation about academia and the way academia treats people of color, but also kind of the way that academia needs to change. The next books that I then got were a box set because I am planning on reading the Riordanverse. I was treated to The Lost Hero, The Son of Neptune, The Mark of Athena, The House of Hades, and finally, The Blood of Olympus, all by Rick Riordan, which then comprises the entirety of the House of Olympus series. I just think this box set is so gorgeous, and like the way that the spines are, they really, really turn me on. I think there's something on the nakedness as well. That didn't happen. Okay, there's nothing on the nakedness, but like I just think the color scheme as well is just beautiful. I've just been really meaning to get into the Riordanverse, and so I'm basically buying everything. But this set was gifted to me. I'm kind of figuring out the format in which I want to do this. We're gonna see. I think that like it's definitely something that I'm contemplating, because I'm like, I could do like one massive video where I read the entire Riordanverse, but then it's like, will I be able to go into as much depth as I would want to? Who knows? I don't know yet. I can now get into the books that were gifted. So the very first two books that I was then gifted were On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong, and also The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, which is the Penguin English Library edition, because I'm collecting a lot of the Penguin English Library books. These were gifted by David, who said, I noticed you had two of my favourite books on your wish list, so I just had to get them to support my favourite booktuber. Greetings from West Virginia. And thank you so much, David. Literally, like, I know Noelle's reading On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous at the moment, and she is loving it, and The Great Gatsby honestly remains as one of my favorite classics, even though it does have a few issues in terms of like representation. I'm really like happy about this, and I just cannot wait to read both of these. And plus I do want to reread The Great Gatsby at some point because I do want to do a kind of retrospective analysis. I definitely think there's a lot of critique on classism that you could take from this, but also kind of as well the race-based classism that we get with the slight mention that we get of like people of color within the novel. But yeah, thank you so much, David. I literally cannot wait to delve into this novel and just see everything it has to offer. I think I might try and read this weekend actually, but I already have like a lot of books I'm trying to read this weekend, but I think this weekend I'm just going to take for pleasure and just take care of myself and read just before March begins. Wow, March is in 2 days. Wow, March's next week. The next two books that I then received was The Worst Best Man by Misa Sosa and also The Right Swipe by Alicia Wright. I know Noelle was reading this quite recently as well, so I might ask her what she thought about this. But yeah, these were also given to me by Carrie, who is Carrie Berry on BookTube, and Carrie is just such a stunning light in this community, so I'll have it linked in the description down below. Plus, these additions to my romance collection is very well appreciated because I have like a little romance shelf up there at this moment in time, and so I'm definitely looking for more books to add to it. And Carrie says, "Hey Joel, happy birthday. I hope you're having the best day and being spoiled rotten because you definitely deserved it. I hope these get to you in time for your romance reading vlog." They didn't, but it's completely fine. Also, congrats on 50k. That's such an achievement and you should be very proud of yourself. These books sound good, so I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Also, good luck on your diss, you'll smash it. Thank you so much. Honestly, well, I'm researching my diss at the moment. I'm rewriting it from March 1st because like I liked what I was doing in my dissertation, and then one day I woke up and hated it, and then I continued to hate it, and then a week later I still hated it, so I completely scrapped it. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck did I actually just write? But I'm really excited to get these romances because they will definitely be good additions to volumes 3 or 4 of my romance reading. The next two books I then received were gifted by the amazing Molly. If you don't know them, they have an amazing BookTube channel and I just love them so much. They are just such an amazing friend and always checks up on me, and they gifted me If We Were Villains by ML Rio, and also I finally got a physical copy of Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. Honestly, to finally have a physical copy of this book literally fills me with pride and joy because look at this. Look how stunning that is. That is amazing. And now I can just like stroke it all day long. Gosh. This is an amazing book. If you haven't yet read it, go pick it up. It's basically following a trans Bruhix who wants to prove himself to his family that he is a Brujo, and he seeks to resurrect his cousin from the dead in order to find out how he died, but then instead resurrects the school's resident bad boy, and together they've got to figure out how the bad boy died. Otherwise, he is going to fuck shit up. And so it's really great, and I'm really happy about this. And so Molly wrote, "Happy birthday, you beautiful soul. Thank you for being you, and thank you for your friendship. I can't wait to someday meet you and give you the biggest hug. In love with you so much. Would recommend the audiobook with this one." So you heard it from Molly. Molly gifted me 48 cream eggs. I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 left. I have 9 cream eggs left. Now, I'm going to say this. I did not eat 39 cream eggs. My family have been coming into my room and stealing cream eggs from me for God knows how long. My family have probably eaten like 15 of them. Which then means, yeah, I did eat 14 cream eggs. Shh. I can do with what I want with my cream eggs. Like, cream eggs are also really funny because all the time Farida, Adiba and I on Twitter argue about cream eggs because Farida and I love them and Adiba hates them. Oh my god, imagine having a massive Easter egg that's like a massive cream egg. Why haven't they done that? Why haven't they done that? I'm really excited to also read If We Were Villains because a lot of people who told me like I didn't really like the secret history as much as I was hoping to, and so they said If We Were Villains definitely provides a lot of the feelings that I was missing from that, and so I'm really excited to read this in the coming months. And again, thank you so much to Molly for getting these. I love you. The next book that I then got was from my best friend here, and I love her to bits. I love her so much. She literally completes me and she's great. And so she got me What Big Teeth by Rose Zabot. This cover is literally so amazing. The art was done by Corey Brickley and the jacket design was done by Aurora Palagrijo, and I am just obsessed with this. This story really intrigued me because it follows a girl who runs away from her boarding school to go back home, only to discover that her whole family are kind of like monsters, and so she needs to learn to tame the monster that's inside of her or it will consume her. And so it definitely seems exciting. I'm still trying to discover a lot of things within the horror genre, and this is shown to be a fantasy horror, which seems really great to me because it combines fantasy and horror together, and so I'm really excited by it. I just love Tia so much for giving this to me because our friendship means more to me than she'll ever know. The next two books that I then received were from Lauren, or Northern Plunder on Twitter, and Lauren and I's friendship goes for many years now, and so when the books that she gifted me arrived on my doorstep, I was literally so thankful. She's amazing, and I cannot wait to show you that I finally got The Wicker King by K.A. Krim. A lot of people have been wanting me to read this, and so I will finally be able to read it, friends. I will finally be able to read it and tell you everything. But I also received Every Heart a Doorway by Shannon Maguire, and you know, I also really, really wanted to read this. I was surprised because I didn't know this was a novella. I thought this was literally a fully fledged novel, and so when I came up and I was literally like, oh, this is a short book. This is literally a thin book. It is literally like 170 pages. I can get through this book in like 2 to 3 hours. I love that for me. Like, this is literally gonna be such a quick read, and I'm really looking forward to it. But I'm also gonna try and get the other books in the series before I start this, because I really want to kind of catch up on the series. And then we got into The Wicker King, because this jacket design is literally amazing. It was made from Michael Frost and Ellen Duda, and it just looks so cool. And like, I don't know much about The Wicker King in and itself, and I don't think I want to know a lot about The Wicker King before I go into it, but I just think it's going to be stunning. I think it's going to be amazing. A lot of people have said so many good things about it, and I really want to read a K.A. Krim book, especially like seeing the way that like the book gets like darker. I mean, like the last pages are literally white on black, and so I'm like, the next book that I then received was from Jude, and they gifted me Happily Ever Afters by Elise Bryant. This has been on my like to watch list because this came out in January. I have been interested in it for a while, and so I'm really happy that I finally got this. And this basically follows like a creative writer on their journey to write like an amazing romance novel, and like tries to do some like real life experimentation in order to like get inspiration for their romance. Especially as someone who is also a writer, I'm really like excited to see how like Elise Bryant writes this process of like a 16-year-old being like, I do not know romance. It just feels great. It feels like it's going to be such a heartwarming story. It'll just provide a lot of like feelings for me, and it's definitely another book to go on the romance shelf as well. This cover is simply amazing, and it's just designed so well. It was done by Michelle Rosa D'Urbano, and the jacket design was by Jessie Gang, and so I'm really, really intrigued by it, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to delve into this, and I cannot wait to experience it. And also, to everyone who's wondering, it's literally just white on the nakedness. There's nothing underneath it. But Jude also says, hey, I'm kind of a quiet watcher of your content because I'm awkward and I don't know what to say, which extends to this note. But I really love your channel, and both you and this book seem really great, so happy birthday from Jude. Thank you so much, Jude. And honestly, like, just you watching is enough. If you want to interact, feel free to. If you don't, just feel free to lurk in the background, because at the end of the day, this is a safe space, and I want you to feel as safe as you want to. Overall, I'm just glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you're watching. The next book that was then gifted by Erica was Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man by Emmanuel Acho. And this one I picked up because I want to read a lot more non-fiction this year, and also non-fiction about race and racism, and also how it feeds into post-colonial theory as a whole, and especially within like the 18th century that I'm doing for my dissertation at the moment as well. It's been really interesting to kind of use 21st century criticism against 18th century values. It's been like astounding to see the amount of representation that we do get in the 18th century, but also at the same time the consequences of that. I'm really excited to read this because I feel like this book is so important, because Emmanuel Acho basically talks about the things that make people uncomfortable, and talks about the way that we need to actually have these conversations in order to kind of repair the relationship that racism has like destroyed. And in this book he talks a lot about systemic racism, white privilege. He basically goes to explain like the vital core of these like subjects, and so I'm really like excited to read it and see what Emmanuel Acho talks about and thinks as he explains each and every chapter to us as the reader. And again, a massive thank you to Erica for gifting me this, who then says, hi Joel, I recently found your booktube channel. I would love to see some more non-fiction booktube, so here's me doing my part. I love your channel and thank you for the energy you give off. And thank you. I definitely want to do a non-fiction reading vlog at some point, because I definitely think it's something I would love to do. Although, I don't know, I'm kind of debating lately maybe stepping away from like calling things reading vlogs. I read non-fiction for a week or something like that. Basically, what I've had the dramatic realization is that I want to change some things about my channel and the way that like I do some things, and so I'm basically in my experimental phase because I haven't had one of those yet. I basically had been struggling with a lot of imposter syndrome over the last like 2 months, because I'd been looking at other people and seeing kind of the content that they make and being like, why am I not like them? Why can I not create content like them? And it's just like, well, one, I'm me. I have my own ideas. I have my own massive brainwaves that literally topple buildings. But also two, I need to remember the fact that I didn't start creating content until June. I didn't start creating content until like 8 months ago. And so expecting myself to create the same content as someone who's been on YouTube for like 5 years, it's definitely something that I need to forgive myself for, and definitely something I need to like remind myself that I am still learning. I can't wait to see what happens when I reach 1 year and kind of see the elevation of my content then. Like, who knows what's gonna happen, but I think it's just gonna be amazing. And yeah, But anyway, thank you so much, Erica. And then we get on to the final 3 books. And so these final books were gifted to me by Nadine, and honestly, I am just fully excited for each and every one of these. And so we have The Shadow of Kyoshi by FCE, Hood Feminism by Mickey Kendall, and then finally, I'm actually not going to show you this one yet. I'm not going to show you the last book yet. So we have The Shadow of Kyoshi by FCE, which is the sequel to The Rise of Kyoshi, which covers basically Avatar Kyoshi's reign as the Avatar, and give us the backstory that we've been desperately wanting from the Avatar universe. And especially now that Nickelodeon has opened the Avatar Studios, we're going to get so much more out of the Avatar universe, and I'm really excited about that. I just cannot wait to see how the story ends in this novel from Kyoshi's Rise of Kyoshi. The next book then we get is Hood Feminism, which is Notes from the Women White Feminists Forgot by Mickey Kendall. I'm also kind of reading a book that's similar to this at the moment, which is White Tears, Brown Scars, How White Feminism Betrays Women of Colour by Ruby Hamad. And that has been quite an eye-opening read so far. I'm buddy reading that with Cindy, and just the things that Ruby Hamad has been saying has definitely opened my eyes to a lot more of the ways that white feminism has impacted women and non-binary people of colour. And so I'm really excited to continue that kind of research with Hood Feminism and see kind of from another perspective how white feminism has betrayed women of colour and non-binary people of colour, and seeing kind of the effects that it has had on a society as a whole. I know Noelle read this last year and completely agreed with a lot of the messages that Mickey Kendall was saying, and just said that a lot of the words that she had used were really powerful. And so I cannot wait to also read this at some point. Well, to be fair, if I am going to do a non-fiction reading vlog, I also kind of want it to be themed as well. And then from Nadine, she basically says, from a friend and fan across the pond, congrats on all you've done. As a fellow book lover and POC uni student, watching your channel has truly got me through the tough days. Thanks and enjoy. Also, congrats on 50k. And so I'm really excited about that. I'm really thankful for you, Nadine. Thank you so much for gifting me this. And I actually just showed the top of the book. The book that I then got as my final book for this book haul is La Morte d'Arthur, which follows King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table by Sir Thomas Malory. But it has gold sprayed edges, and it has a bookmark as well, but that's like not the important thing. It's a leather-bound copy of the Tales of King Arthur. Now, all of you know how obsessed with King Arthur I am. Like, BBC's Merlin really opened my eyes to King Arthur mythology. I am looking to write a King Arthur mythology series. This follows King Arthur and basically gives like a lot of like details as to the mythology surrounding King Arthur. And I've literally scanned through this book, and already there's so many like chaotic things. They'll be like, how 11 kings with their host for Arthur and his host with the many great feats of war. And then the next chapter will literally be called Yet of the Same Battle. And then the next chapter will be called Yet More of the Same Battle. And then it's like Yet More of the Same Battle and how it was ended by Merlin. And so it's definitely something that I want to read. I want to read the entirety of it, maybe with it, like it's literally like 700 pages, which is like basically the length of the Birding God. And I kind of just want to do a reading vlog of it and just talk about the chaoticness of Arthurian mythology within this book. Kind of what I want to do. But I think it's also going to be really fun and really wacky and really cool, and being like, I read ancient mythology and it completely blew my mind. Because I do have a Greek myths book as well. That would be really cool to do. But yeah, I'm just really excited about this and I can't wait to read it as well. And that literally brings the book haul to an end. I am not going to pick up all of these books. I'm now trying to like place all of these books. I'm just gonna place them all here, because I feel like that's like the best way to do it. Okay, I couldn't fit this book on this, so it'll just go like on the side. But the tower literally goes all the way up there and ends all the way down here. But yeah, it's definitely a big one. It's definitely a big tower, and I literally did not anticipate this. But again, I just thank you all so much for this. I'm just immensely thankful for all the books you've gifted me. And we have 35 books that have now been added to this collection, and I do not want to think about the amount of books that I now own. It's definitely like 500, I believe. I definitely think I'm roughly around 500 books that I own, but I do not know. I don't get how I'm going to move all of these if I have to move. Chaos! That is everything for this book haul. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, be sure to click that subscription button so that you're notified whenever I upload next. This week's shout out fates again goes out to Carrie Berry, and you can find their channel in the description down below, and also Molly's as well. I just have a lot more books now, and it emphasizes the amount of stories that you can read. And I think Jack Edwards said this on like the thing that you had with Noelle yesterday, that it's kind of beautiful that the fact that we will never read all of the stories in the world, and so there's always a new story to discover, there's always a new story to to breathe and live and experience, and I think that's beautiful. And I think that there's just so many books on this shelf that I have not read yet, but again, it just shows the amount of worlds that I'm willing to explore, and I just can't wait. I can't wait to explore all of these worlds and just see everything. I do not know how I'm going to take this thumbnail, but it's going to be taken. And yeah, I guess until the next time. Bye, friends.